America's Healthcare Advocate Show.
Hello, America. Welcome to America's Healthcare Advocate Show.
Separating fact from fiction.
We're going to repeal it and replace it, and it'll be great health care for much less money.
You can have the benefits that were promised to them without any change whatsoever. But if we keep kicking the can down the road, keep digging the hole deeper, burying that deficit more, that's much harder to keep that kind of a commitment.
Broadcasting coast to coast across the USA. Susan's calling from Kansas City, Missouri. Marcia from Pittsburgh. My very special guest today, Grace Marie Turner, president of the Galen Institute. Welcome back, Grace Marie.
Well, Carrie, it's a pleasure to be with you, and I do have to say, you are the most knowledgeable about health policy, just superlative.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, America's Healthcare Advocate, Carrie Hall.
Hello, America. Welcome to America's Healthcare Advocate Show, broadcasting coast to coast across the USA here on the HI Radio Network. You can find out more about us by going to our website, americashealthcareadvocate.com, americashealthcareadvocate.com. And you can also call us during the broadcast today. I'm not going to put you on the air, so don't be afraid of that, because we have guests in studio today. But you can call if you have any questions about health insurance or health-related issues. That number is 877-385-2224, anywhere in the United States, including Guam. Yes, we actually got a call from Guam the other day. So you can call. We have operators standing by. They're happy to help you with anything they can. That includes group health insurance, employer-sponsored health plans, Medicare, or individual health care. We do it all, and we are happy to help you with any of that if you choose to call. 877-385-2224. Anytime you wish to call, we're happy to help you. The operators will take your information down. We will get back to you after the show. You can also go up on the website. Lots of information up there, videos up there on various things from captive to self-funded to Medicare, a whole host of things starring yours truly. So if you want to go up and look at those videos, they're about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long, and they explain some of this stuff and make it easy to understand. And you can send me an email from americashealthcareadvocate.com. All right, so today, joining me in studio, this is a show that we have talked about doing for some time, and I am very happy to be able to do it. We have Gary Becker from Script Sourcing. You think I did radio. I even said that right. From Script Sourcing, joining us in studio today. Welcome, Gary.
Welcome. Nice to be here.
And he's the CEO of Script Sourcing. Also joining me in studio, again, a guy who is actually becoming a regular on the show. We may even make him a co-host at some point, David Hickman.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for
I just sprang that on him. See, he didn't even know I was going to say that today.
No,
okay?
I really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and the co-hosting, we'll have to talk about that over lunch.
We will indeed, and he's going to buy lunch because I just said that, see? All right, so here's the deal. Today on this broadcast, we're going to talk about the cost of prescription medications. Now, look, this affects everybody out there listening to this broadcast. And what we're going to talk to you about today is this program from the company Script Sourcing and how they handle that issue and do some pretty phenomenal things in reducing cost. I think you're going to be a little surprised about what you hear. But let me kind of set the stage a little bit. First of all, according to the Mayo Clinic, 7 out of 10 of us Americans are currently taking prescription drugs. That includes yours truly. 25% of the healthcare spend today is on prescription drugs. But David told me in a show we did a couple of weeks ago that we're looking in the next 8 years for the prescription drug spend to be higher than inpatient drugs. Is that right, David?
Yeah, that's accurate. Absolutely.
And that's shocking people when you think about it, okay? But brand name medications are going up at the rate of about 13% a year, and the top 50 generic medications have increased by 373%. I'm going to repeat that again so you understand it. 373%. Those generics, just because you get it at Walmart or Costco for $4 or $5, that's not the cost of the medication, all right? And there are some that are significantly higher, some of them up to $1,000 or more. I went to get one for my wife the other day, and it was $1,100. So there are prescription drugs out there that are generics that are significantly higher. For instance, the new Hep C drug is $1,150 per pill. All right. So the cost of these drugs is getting higher and higher. And so that brings us to you, Gary. And you all have figured out a solution. Let's talk a little bit first about how did you get into this in terms of this whole industry, and then a little history on script sourcing and what made you decide to start this company. Gary?
Well, thanks, Kerry. I've been in the benefit consulting business for 33 years. I've been pretty proactive with respect to risk management. Back in 2009, I built the first benefit captive in the Mid-Atlantic area. We helped band together fully insured employers so they could have transparency, control, risk management, and do a lot better than what they had in the past. What kind of drew me to script sourcing is that we have some intellectual property, methods, solutions to help employers and employees mitigate the cost of prescription. And we have a pretty, I believe, a wonderful solution in that we are making available many name brand meds and specialty meds, these high cost medications, to members of self-funded health plans for a zero copay. And we're saving employers 70 to 90 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, and we're going to, later on in the show, I'm going to actually go through, just so you hear this and understand it, folks, I'm going to go through and explain and name some of these drugs specifically in the costs and the difference between what you get with script sourcing and what you're typically paying. You used a couple of words that are, I think, really important. In this industry, in the PBM industry, one thing we don't see, Gary, is transparency. There's no transparency about repackaging. There's no transparency about rebates. There's no transparency about pass-throughs. Why is that, and what is that all about?
Well, my response would be that we have an industry in which we have a middleman called the PBM, the Prescription Benefit Manager. And in this country, we have 3 PBMs, Express Scripts, CVS, Caremark, and Optum, that represent over 70% of all the prescriptions. And their interests are aligned with their shareholders, as it should be. They're not just Fortune 500 companies, they're Fortune 20 companies making billions of dollars every year. And they don't want to be transparent about the spread pricing and how much revenue that they're earning on the backs of employers.
All right, so and there's nothing wrong with earning. There's nothing wrong with companies making a profit. There's nothing wrong with being on Wall Street. I own a significant number of stocks, and I'm always happy to see when the market's doing well. But there comes a point where there needs to be some clear understanding of what's going on here. Okay, and that doesn't exist, especially from these 3 PBMs today, in terms of how they do what they do. So explain a little bit about some of those things I just talked about. Where is that transparency? Where are those things like rebates and some of those other issues?
Well, with respect to rebates, there's about 50% of these PBMs' revenue is manufacturer revenue, whether it's in the form of rebates or other types of manufacturer revenue. They may call their rebates formulary rebates, marketing, administrative fee rebates, price protection rebates.
So let me just stop you because I want to make sure the audience understands this. That means the manufacturer, okay, whoever it may be, all right, Merck, let's just pick one, who is making a specific medication, and they're giving a rebate of X number of dollars for every prescription filled. But that rebate's not going back to the employer-sponsored health plan. It's going where?
Well, I guess it all depends on the contract.
Okay.
So there are some contracts in which all manufacturer revenue is going back to the employer-sponsored health plan. There's others where it's shared. There's others where the employer-sponsored health plan gets no rebates. So it just depends on the relationship you have with your pharmacy benefit management vendor.
Yeah, so in cases like, David, like the Pareto Contrarian Recaptive, where I have a number of clients and there are over 300 companies in that captive, we have a very specific PBM contract where exactly what Gary just described happens. 100% of that rebate money flows back to those employers. Well, those at the end of the year turn out to be some pretty significant numbers. And I'm assuming, you're experiencing that in your Myrma block, in our new captive, the Show Me Health Plan. That's all part of what's being incorporated here, yes?
Yes, absolutely. We saw that from a typical PBM to Gary's solution, that there was about a $485,000 savings moving to that solution from a typical PBM.
All right, so when we come back after the break, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about why, as an employer, you should want to do this. I'm also going to talk about, if you decide to do it, do your employees mandatorily have to participate in this program? So we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the benefits and how it works and exactly what they do. But I think you're going to be in for a bit of a surprise, especially when we start talking about the actual pricing of some of these medications and how that impacts you as an employer. You're listening to America's Healthcare Advocate, broadcasting here on the HIA Radio Network, coast to coast across the USA. By the way, if you want information on this program, go to the website HICinsure.com. That's HICinsure.com. Did I get that right?
Yeah, HICinsure.com.
Okay, HICinsure.com. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're listening to America's Healthcare Advocate Show, broadcasting coast to coast across the USA. Here on the HIA Radio Network, you can find out more about us by going to our website, americashealthcareadvocate.com. Send me an email if you've got questions. I am happy to answer them. Don't answer each one the same day. I just get too many, but I do answer each and every one of them. All right, so we're going to continue this conversation. My producer today is Mr. Ron Moore. I'm your host, Kerry Hall. In this segment, David Hickman, CEO of HIC Agency, is joining me, and Gary Becker, CEO of Script Sourcing, in studio with me today. If you heard that first segment, if you're intrigued by this at all, you wonder how do they do this, and when we start giving you some of these numbers, you're going to fall out of your chair. I suggest you pull over if you're driving because you're going to be shocked. Okay. But if you want information, go to the website HICinsure.com. HICinsure.com, right?
Perfect.
Okay, I got it. Believe it or not. Isn't that amazing, folks? So that is the phone number for David's agency. You can also reach out 913-369-5552, 913-369-5552. And if you're a broker agent, yes, this is available to you. All you got to do is call David. He'll tell you how to plug it in and how it all works. So we are happy to help any broker and agent across the country that is interested in this program and wants to bring it to his people. So once again, David's website, HICinsure.com or 913-369-5552. All right, so cost of medications in Canada, UK, New Zealand, Australia, world of difference in what they are here, okay? Why is that?
Great question. So these countries have socialized medicine. They negotiate directly with the pharmaceutical companies, unlike the United States. They are tier 1 countries, English speaking, and they pay 5 to 50 cents on the dollar for the exact same medications. So what we do is these meds are factory packaged and sealed at the same manufacturers that we're getting our meds from. They're shipped to brick and mortar pharmacies that are located in Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, that have real life pharmacists that have been in business for decades, that serve their own citizens. And these meds are shipped to the doorsteps of your plan members for a $0 copay.
Okay, so that's right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the secret of how this works. So what's happening here is you are importing those medications from those 4 countries back into this country, right?
Yes.
All right, and this isn't Chinese drywall, okay, or Chinese medications, okay? These are from Merck, Pfizer, etc. They're exactly the same things available in the United States, but you have a program that allows you to import that medication directly into employers, their employees, at prices that are, and again, I'm holding that till third segment, people, but prices that are hugely different than what they're currently paying, yes?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, these are tier 1 countries. And a tier 1 country is a country deemed by our Congress to have the same or higher standards as our FDA, from licensing to safety protocols, et cetera. And we have lots of safety protocols in our personal importation program. For example, we're not going to source any medications that are heat or cold sensitive because of shipping safety concerns. We're not going to ship any meds that are not FDA approved here in our country. We're not going to ship any meds that can get commercialized or be abused, like narcotics or lifestyle drugs like Viagra or Cialis. So there's a limit to which meds that we're going to make available.
So speaking of the opioid crisis, which is a really big deal right now, this is not a way for people to dodge the prescription issue on opioid and be able to get 6 months worth of opioid prescriptions for OxyContin when they're only allowed to have 30 days worth. Am I correct?
You're correct. We have a network of pharmacies throughout the country, throughout the world, and none of them will ship any opioids to any of the members. So we're able to identify the best pricing from each of these countries. And again, we're not going to ship opioids. We're not going to ship narcotics. We're not even going to ship lifestyle drugs.
Okay, and that's important for all of you to understand out there. And it's also important to understand, what does that mean in terms of what they actually do. So what approximately, and I've got this list in front of me, and it is a four-page, three-page, pretty significant list. And I'm sure this is not all of them, but approximately, Gary, how many medications overall are we talking about that you guys deal with?
Our formulary list is close to 400 different medications.
Okay.
They're all name brand medications. They're maintenance medications. So we're only going to make available medications that will save money for both the plan member, in which they always get a zero copay, and the health plan. So we're not going to make available a medication that does not save both the member and the health plan.
So let me kind of capsulize this for all of you human resource directors out there, employers and broker agents. He just said something very important. The copay again for the employee is what?
Zero.
Okay. So one of the big problems we have, David, with people that have blood pressure, cholesterol. I had one in my office last week who had to take a sick day, okay, because she left her medications at the office for 4 days and didn't take them. So she was sick, all right, and literally couldn't come to work because she had a significant number of meds she takes for blood pressure, et cetera, and she didn't take them, so she wasn't feeling well. Okay. Other people don't take meds because they don't want to pay for them. They don't have the money to make that copay, okay, or do it. So therefore, they don't take that maintenance med, whether it's cholesterol, whether it's diabetes, whether it's blood pressure. This changes that whole dynamic, does it not?
Absolutely. And adherence to what the physician writes the script for is so very important because, again, we're trying to mitigate the risk of a larger issue, a larger health claim issue to the plan. So, yeah, adherence and the availability to get those drugs is very important.
And Gary, if an employer decides, hey, you know what, I want to put this in place, this has got huge potential. We'll talk about that in the next segment. It's going to save a lot of dollars for us. Are employees required to use this service once it's in place?
Everything that we make available is voluntary. So we have prescription advocates that are able to identify members that we can help. We engage them, we educate them, we incentivize and help enroll them in the appropriate programs that we have to offer. Every employee is instructed to do what's in their and their family's best interest. So if using our services and having a zero copay for their maintenance name brand medications in their family's best interest, they're welcome to use our services. If they'd rather go to their corner pharmacy and pay their $100 copay, that's fine also. What we've learned is that
guess what? I think you're probably going to find they're going to move to what you're offering. But go ahead.
Well, so what we've learned is 80% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. 70% of households have $1,000 of savings or less. 20% of hospitalizations are due to medication non-adherence. So we know that we are providing a valuable service so folks can show up to work, not have to be stressed out about monies, not adhering to their medications, pill skipping like we've seen.
So the part I want to emphasize there before we go to break is 20% of the people that are hospitalized because they're not taking their meds. Think about that. Think about that and what that's costing you in terms of claims and dollars when it's time to renew that health insurance policy. If you want information, go to the website HICINSUR.com or call David's office at 913-369-5552. That's 913-369-5552. Brokers and agents, you're welcome to join in. We'll be right back after the break. We're going to get into specifics now on meds and cost. You'll be surprised. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're listening to America's Healthcare Advocate Show, broadcasting coast to coast across the fruited plain here on the HIA Radio Network. You can find out more about us by visiting our website, americashealthcareadvocate.com, americashealthcareadvocate.com. Send me an email if you got a question. We'll be happy to answer it. My producer, the always perfect Mr. Ron Moore. I'm your host, Kerry Hall. Coming up in this segment, we're going to continue this fascinating conversation with the folks from Script Sourcing. We've got Gary Becker in studio with us today. He is the CEO of Script Sourcing, and David Hickman from HIC Agency, who brought these folks to me and was instrumental in getting them on the radio here to talk about this program. If you are an employer out there, if you're a human resource director, maybe you're just an interested party that works at a company where you know you're paying a ridiculous price for a particular medication, go to the boss, okay? Say, hey, guess what? Go to this guy, call this guy, go to their website, okay? HICINSUR.com, HICINSUR.com. Send David an email or call him anywhere in the country. By the way, this is available any place in the country, even in Guam. 913-369-5552, 913-369-5552. I want to reiterate two things Gary said in that last segment. Number one, Tier 1 country. That doesn't mean Tier 1 generic drug like you get on your plan, you know, when you get your plan document. That means Tier 1 means they comply with everything we do here in the United States to ensure safety and quality. Am I right, Gary?
You are correct.
I did not get that wrong. See that? Okay. And, okay, this program is voluntary. So if you decide, hey, you know what? We're going to keep our current PBM in place. We're going to run with whatever that is, but we're going to put this program in place as a voluntary program. Nobody has to do it, all right? But I have a pretty good indication that if you tell an employee they got a zero copay for this medication, they're probably going to want to take a look at it. At the end of the day, what does that mean? It means that when it comes renewal time, your prescription drug cost is going to be significantly less, especially, and we're going to get in the weeds now and talk about specifics on these specific medications and how they work. So let's start with that, Gary. I want you just to pick at random 4 or 5 medications here because we got a list that's 400 long. Let's just pick 4 or 5 and give folks an idea of the difference between what they're currently paying and what they pay on this program. Gary?
Sure, thanks. So actually, we took a look at some of Dave Hickman's clients. One of them here in front of me, there's a medicine called Tesfidera. It happens to be a multiple sclerosis pill medicine. And this med costs about $80,000 a year.
$80,000.
Yes, $80,000 a year. And we can source this medication for $40,000. So it's a 50% savings, which means the member is going to get a zero copay. We provide a Visa gift card to further incentivize and help this employee consider our services. And the employer-sponsored health plan saving $40,000. So this group that I'm looking at actually had several people taking Tesfidera. Their spend was $331,000 on this medication that we could source for $162,000, a 51% savings, a savings to the health plan of $169,000.
And I'm looking at David here smiling like a Cheshire cat that just ate the canary, okay? So at the end of the year, David, every dollar fell to the bottom line for that employer. They didn't have to sell one more widget, okay, or go back out to if it was a municipality or whoever it was and say, hey, we got to raise your property taxes in order to cover our health insurance costs because they went up 48% this year. Every dollar of that money fell to the bottom line. Yes?
That's correct. And even furthermore, the other thing that we're seeing happen is when those plans incur higher cost, that it's usually at renewal where the deductibles increase, out-of-pocket costs to the employee. It's a cost shifting.
That's right.
And we've avoided that. So we're really serving not only that employer and allowing them to continue to offer an amazing business benefit for their employees, but we're helping the employees keep their out-of-pocket costs lower as well.
Yeah, well, the other side to that coin is they're taking the medication because they can afford it. You look at some of these plans. You know, the employee is responsible for X, okay, 20%, 30%, not the copay, 20, 30, and you've got other plans out there, like some of the captive plans, who are writing these medications out of their plans, so we're not going to cover it, period. What does that do? All right, so those are all issues that have to be dealt with. Let's do a couple more of these, Gary. These are pretty interesting.
Sure, there's a medication called Celebrex.
Everybody's familiar with that. That's very common.
I've actually taken it myself. It costs. When we do an analysis, we actually will analyze the data from an employer's current health plan, their PBM cost per pill. In the case of Celebrex, the cost was $10.15 per pill. We can source this medication for $1.29 per pill. That's a savings of $8.86 per pill, and 88.7% savings.
88.7%. I mean, really, David, when you think about this, that's mind-boggling. Where's that money going right now? Okay, it's going back in the pocket of the PBM, okay, and maybe being shared with the TPA, because we know that happens. In fact, we know some TPAs that do that, okay, as opposed to that money flowing back to the employer, who then lowers the cost to his employees of health insurance. So it makes a big difference, yes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, when I wish I could take credit for the introduction to Gary, but it came from my underwriter. My underwriter called me and said, David, if we take a look at these.
This is on one of our captive plans.
It is. And if you give Gary a call and utilize his services and his PBM solution, we're going to lower the premiums by $100,000.
No, this isn't savings money. This isn't the savings money. I want to make sure everybody understands that. This is money that the underwriter said we will take off of your annual premium just by virtue of the fact that you're going to use these people.
Directly out of the claims cost, or what they would have incurred for that claim.
That's pretty remarkable.
Absolutely. And no one else had that solution.
Yeah, no kidding. And so this is a double-edged sword. There's the, hey, you know what? And I've done this. I've done this with underwriters in other captives, with self-funded plans, et cetera. I've going to say, we're going to implement this program. I want you to go back and recalculate what the rate is going to be for next year, because we're implementing this program. And you're doing exactly the same thing with this program.
Absolutely.
And that money, again, is falling to the bottom line.
Yes.
Okay, Gary, this is fun. Let's do another one.
Sure. Here's a popular.
Maybe we'll just keep doing this. Come on, do another one.
Well, here's a popular one that's been in the press: EpiPen.
Okay, yeah, it is. Isn't he in jail or going to jail? Let me see if I remember correctly.
So, where the plan had been paying $293 for per EpiPen, we source it for $74. That's over a 75% savings.
Think about that. Okay, that's mind-boggling. Okay, and here's the other thing, David. This isn't just employees. Okay, this is employees and their dependents. And one of the things that we hear constantly from employers, let's say the employer pays 90% or even 100%, okay, or 70% of the premium for the employee, but the employee turns around. I've got a pharmaceutical, interesting. It's an animal pharmaceutical firm, but their big challenge is their costs are so high, okay, that they cannot put dependents on the plan. Even though the employer pays 30% of the dependent, they can't put them on the plan. So this all flows down, and if you're reducing cost overall for the whole plan by this much money, how much easier is it for the employer to be able to tell the employee, hey, you know what, you can put your wife and children on her now, or your husband and children, and make a lot more sense.
Absolutely. And it's so important to be able to do that today with the very limited selection of quality healthcare plans in the marketplace.
Yeah, and the other thing is, what are the ancillary benefits of that? Okay, so if you lower the cost of the health insurance by this drug spend, which, MS is a classic example. I get this all the time from people. Well, we're going to get turned down, or we're going to get rated, or we're going to get lasered, or whatever the case may be, because we've got an MS claim. All right, and it's pretty obvious. What did you say the cost of that med was? That MS med, Gary?
Well, it's $80,000 a year.
$80,000. Okay, those are huge issues. Okay, if you eliminate that or drop that down to this level, how does that impact everybody else on the plan? It's pretty significant, yes?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you, to Dave's credit, what he's doing with his clients is he's empowering employees to be great consumers of health care.
Thank you. And not consumers of health insurance.
And when they are, care can be free or near free. And what he's learned and what he's sharing with his clients is that there isn't a linear relationship between benefits and costs. He doesn't have to reduce benefits to reduce costs. He can actually improve benefits and reduce costs, and he has the evidence to prove that.
And that was a key phrase. He doesn't have to reduce benefits to reduce costs. If you want information, go to HICINSUR.com, HICINSUR.com, or call David at 913-369-5552. Brokers and agents, we are happy to help and happy to bring you into this program. 913-369-5552. Give us a call. We'll be right back after the break with more. Stay tuned. You're listening to America's Healthcare Advocate, broadcasting on the HIA Radio Network, coast to coast across the USA. Welcome back. You're listening to America's Healthcare Advocate Show, broadcasting coast to coast across the USA here on the HIA Radio Network. You can find out more about us by visiting our website, americashealthcareadvocate.com. You can see my shining face up there in all those wonderful videos. Yes, I do have a face for radio. You'll find that out when you look at the videos. Our producer, Mr. Ron Moore. I'm your host, Kerry Hall. Coming up in this segment, we're going to wrap it up with David Hickman from HIC Agency and Gary Becker, CEO of Script Sourcing. You know, if you're listening to this, if you're a human resource director, if you're the business owner, if you're a broker agent, take a moment to reach out and find out more about this. It is remarkably easy to do. You heard him talk about the dollars. I mean, we only named like 3 or 4 meds. There's 400 meds on these pages, and all of this money drops to the bottom line. I'm going to ask David to talk about a Hep C drug here in a minute, just to quantify this again so you understand it. The website, if you want information, HICINSUR, HICINSUR.com. HICINSUR.com. The phone number, if you want to call David directly, 913-369-5552, 913-369-5552. It is available anywhere in the country. If you're listening to me in High Point, North Carolina, or if you're listening to me in San Diego, California, or Washington, Missouri, or wherever it may be, we are happy to help you make that phone call. Get on the website, HICInsure.com. Okay, so we've all heard of medical tourism, Gary. What is pharmaceutical tourism?
Well, I'll tell you, 51% of Big Pharma's profits are here in the United States. And there's an opportunity to have certain medications dispensed in beautiful destinations for a fraction of the cost.
Okay, so we're not going to send them to Alaska. So where are we sending them?
Well, we have the opportunity to send members to the Cayman Islands, to San Diego, to Cabo, to Cancun, to name a few.
Okay, so if they go to one of these places, how does this work? Did they go there every month to get their medications? Explain how this works.
Sure. So last week we sent 2 people to San Diego, and we gave each of these members a $3,000 Visa gift card. They were responsible to book their own flight, book their own hotel. We had a CFO who actually took his wife and his 4 children with him. And when they arrived to San Diego, we had a concierge medical transportation company pick them up at the airport, take them to their hotel of choice. They drove them down into Mexico, 15, 20-minute drive to a beautiful state-of-the-art hospital called Angeles Health International. They met with a doctor, had their meds dispensed, and they were back in San Diego within an hour.
Wow. And I'm assuming there was a significant cost savings in this.
Yeah, well, in this case, the medication is called Revlimid, and you're allowed to import up to a 90-day supply. So this particular member went to Mexico 2 days in a row, and for that, it's a $60,000 savings. So
holy cow. $60,000 was saved by doing this?
Yes.
And they got a vacation out of the deal at SeaWorld.
Yeah, they went to the beach. They went to SeaWorld, the gas lamp district. They had a good time.
Yeah. And the employer saved $60,000. David, talk a little bit quickly about this Hep C med and the issue there.
Well, it's a lot of these medications that are being prescriptions written for might have a 90-day regimen. So we had that exact example happen, a Hep C in January. And if you do not have the right PBM in place, you're going to miss that opportunity for the savings.
And the cost was?
$90,000.
There you go, people. Okay, I rest my case. $90,000, okay? That a huge chunk of that could have been saved if that program if this program had been in place and the employee had access to it. So where the rubber meets the road, Gary, if employers listening to this, okay, it sounds good. How do I know? You will do a free audit, talk about that, and evaluate their current prescriptions.
Sure. So we can take a look at the prescription data. And with that, we hyperanalyze this data, and we'll be able to provide quantifiable, measurable, actionable savings opportunities. If the employer feels like there's a good opportunity and they'd like to do business with us, we don't charge an admin fee. We don't charge a setup fee, and the employer keeps the majority of the savings as a result of the services. We have a solution in which all of our interests are aligned together. That is, the employer saves a lot of money. The members get a zero copay for their medications. They get a Visa gift card, and we make a couple bucks as well.
Yeah, well, everybody has to make a couple bucks, but as my daddy used to say, pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. Okay, so and it makes sense, okay, for folks to for this thing to work. David, talk a little bit about what you've seen with this, because you've been doing this, and obviously you brought it to us and we put it on the air because we want to educate people out there, brokers and agents as well. But talk a little bit about how this has worked and quantify a little bit of some of the results you've seen.
Well, Carrie, one of the things that we're seeing is that employers are looking for brokers or consultants that actually are addressing the real issues. They're not just spreadsheeting proposals. So that's the first thing.
Those days are gone, pal.
Yeah, you have to be addressing the issues that are impacting premiums and claims and reducing those costs. So what we're doing is we're introducing a solution that can directly impact that cost. And remember, that cost is slated to increase or almost double over the next 8 years. So I would just challenge anybody out there, what are you doing to mitigate those costs? What are you doing to reduce your risk and still maintain and keep your employees healthy?
Yeah, and Gary, I want to go back through, because we're wrapping up here, but I want you to go back through this Tier 1 thing because I want to address this safety issue one more time, Gary.
Sure. We're working with Tier 1 countries. These are countries, Tier 1, Congress has identified Tier 1 countries to have the same or higher standards as our FDA. So they have the same licensing protocols and safety protocols as we do here in the United States.
So that's Great Britain, that's New Zealand, that's Australia. Who am I missing?
Canada. You're missing Canada.
Canada. Okay. I'm sorry, all you up there in Canada that I blew that. But yeah, so we've got 4 countries basically that we're able to access these medications from. The program is voluntary, ladies and gentlemen. If you're an employer, you're not forcing anybody to do anything. But I'll tell you this, when you tell somebody they're going to have a zero copay on a prescription drug where maybe they're responsible for 10% or 20% or $200, whatever the case may be, I think you're going to get a lot of folks are going to be interested in make that happen. The website is HICINSUR.com, HICINSUR.com. That's where you can access this information. Send David an email. They'll reach out to you. The phone number, 913-369-5552, 913-369-5552. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. And now I leave you with this thought from Dr. Martin Luther King. Americans must learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or we will surely perish as fools. Remember, friends, it's a funny thing about life. If you refuse to accept anything but the very best, you most often get it. Thank you for listening to America's Healthcare Advocate, broadcasting on the HI Radio Network, coast to coast across the USA. Goodbye, America.